And suddenly everything just came like, you know, and I was like, as they say in Khoisan, and here's what I started doing. I said exactly what you said right now. I started changing the story in my head. Because when you start living a life with purpose, as you said everything earlier, you are like a magnet. And whatever energy you put out determines what you get back. When you start living your life with purpose, you find that everything conspires to help you make it happen.
Excellent. We are live, and I'm very excited to have with me Robin Banks. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining me from far from Gauteng. I'm in the better side of South Africa. I'm Cape Town.
That's perspective. That's all perspective.
There's a lot of entrepreneurs currently in distress and in fear of what's going on. Not only entrepreneurs, but today is all about entrepreneurs. And I've asked Robin to join me, and specifically on the subject of mindset for entrepreneurs. Robin, people that don't know you, you are international inspirational, motivational coach, and more specifically mind power coach, working with the program of John Keogh. If there's anything else that I'm not sure about the introduction, please fill me in.
No. I think you've covered it very well there, Jasper. My passion is people development. I love people and helping people to unlock the potential inside of them. And you said quite a bit there in your introduction that I think a lot of people are feeling extremely overwhelmed at the moment by the challenges that we are facing on the planet. And make no mistake, we are in crisis, and the world is in crisis. And it's good to acknowledge that you're in crisis, because until you acknowledge where you are, you can't change it. And sometimes people think because of what I teach that you've got to be positive. You got to know everything's okay. No, you also got to be real. You got to admit where you're at. And so the only way you can change your circumstance is you have to, first of all, acknowledge where it is and say, well, this is where I am now. Where do I want to be? But you can't, I think you've probably heard the analogy that if I dropped you in the middle of nowhere with a helicopter and I just said, okay, Jasper, here's a map, and I want you to get to Cape Town City Center in Bree Street. Good luck. What's the first question you're going to ask me?
Where am I?
You can't get to where you want to be, you don't know where you are.
Exactly.
So the first thing is you have to know where you are. And so what I want to say to all the people online is no matter what the situation is, that it's important to have a vision for success. And one of the things I teach people is that it's important to have a vision that really excites you. You've got to have a vision of the future that is much greater than where you currently are. Because what you want to do is you want to expand your mind beyond its current state. And the level of thinking required to reach a big goal is very different to the level of thinking required to reach a small goal. So the biggest thing you want to shift is you want to increase your mindset capacity from where it is to something much greater. Not that much, but you really want to stretch it.
Thank you for watching. Just a quick reminder to grab your gift bag for entrepreneurs in the link below. It's a gift bag for entrepreneurs to the value of 57,000 Rand, free of charge. All you need to do is activate it. Part of that gift bag for entrepreneurs is a voucher of 3 months for 3 months free accounting services from a company, Dryk Holdings. All you need to do is activate the gift bag voucher in the link below, and we will be in contact with you as soon as you've done that. Thank you for watching, and back to the interview.
The first thing, if I want to break it down, the first thing is you've been in a major crisis before. You were in a major business crisis before. And so the first thing is to acknowledge that not only are we in crisis as a globe, have we been in crisis before? And you've just said, yeah, I've been in crisis before. I was in a major crisis. I've been in many crises before. And so here's the point. Did you get out of the crisis? Yes, you did. So here's the thing I want to say to people is that we are in crisis. We've all been in crisis before, and you always get out of crisis. So those are the three things. We're in crisis. Have you been in crisis before? And you always get out of a crisis. So here's the point, guys. Sometimes what happens is when we're in the midst of the crisis, we can't see our way through. And because we can't see our way through, we think, shit, this is the end of the world. Oh my God, I'm never going to get through this. Well, look at your history. Did you get through crisis before? And you said something there, Jasper. You said something that hit the nail on the head. Not only did you get out of the crisis, you emerged even greater as a result of the crisis. Because crisis can either make you or it can break you. And here's the best part, it is 100% up to you. No one decides whether it's going to make you or break you except you. So the one question I get a lot, and you may too working with entrepreneurs, how do I overcome fear? Well, you never totally overcome fear. Fear is
run into it.
What was that?
You just run into it and it runs away.
You acknowledge that it's there. And I love what Tony Robbins says. Fear tells you to get prepared. Fear tells you, okay, I better gird my loins. I better get focused. And at the beginning of this, of lockdown, I mean, I run seminars for thousands of people at a time. And as you can imagine, yeah, that's come to an end. And that's not going to happen for, I reckon, at least a year. At least another year before I can have seminars. And I think that's the minimum. Before I can have seminars where people are literally sitting next to each other and they're massaging and hugging, because that's what I get them to do in my seminars. That's not going to happen for another year. So what happened for me personally is for the first week to 10 days, I went inside and I just thought, okay, what am I going to do? Because my business model has come to an end. I can't, what I did before isn't going to work for the future. And so I acknowledged the fact that I was feeling anxious. I acknowledged the fact that I was feeling fear, but I didn't become the fear. I don't know if you can get the distinction. Feel the feeling, don't become the feeling. Feel the fear, don't become the fear. Feel the anxiety, feel the guilt or the shame, because your feelings are there to guide you. And what you have to do is say, oh, this is how I'm feeling. Okay, cool. What do I want to do with it? Because everything is energy and your feelings are energy. The word emotion literally means energy in motion. That's what emotion is, energy in motion. So the feeling can actually be your way out of the situation if you can find out how to control the feeling rather than have the feeling control you. So feel the fear. And I felt incredible fear because I've got a big team. I've got to make sure that I'm paying all their salaries. I've got huge overheads because I run businesses for thousands of people at a time. So my overheads are big. And suddenly everything just came like, you know, and I was like, as they say in Khoisan, you know, and so I was anxious. I was hugely anxious. And here's what I started doing. I said exactly what you said right now. I started changing the story in my head. I started telling my mind what I wanted it to believe. Now, what I was telling it in the beginning wasn't true. In the beginning, what I was saying to it was absolute bullshit. It was just an affirmation. But I started saying to myself, I'm going to emerge even greater as a result of this crisis. This is the best thing that could ever have happened to me and my business. I'm going to emerge even greater as a result of the crisis. This crisis is going to make me stronger. I'm going to emerge even greater as a result of this crisis. This crisis is going to make me better. And I didn't know how. But here's the point. Any thought that you feed your mind starts believing. Now, as human beings, we don't get that because we go, but it, you know that saying, I'll believe it when I see it. Have you heard that saying?
For sure.
And you know what it should be, right? Surely you know what it should be.
Yeah, for sure.
What it should be is I'll see it when I believe it. So first you have to convince your mind of another way of being. And here's my point. What if I told you that today, as I'm sitting here with my business is doing better than it was 3 months ago? Because the focus now should be on what can you give rather than what can you get. So my seminar, I have slashed the price of my Mind Power seminar. It's costing 20% of 25% of what it normally costs. 25% of what it normally costs. Why? Well, a few reasons. Number one, people are really struggling right now, and I cannot think of a more important time for them to have mind power. And my mentor, John Keogh, said to me, Robbie, he calls me Robbie and I call him Johnny. He said, Robbie, we need to focus on what we can give, not what we can get.
I've got a saying these days that I also affirm to myself, but generosity breeds abundance. And that's so powerful. And that's exactly what you just said. There's an American business spiritual gangster. The CEO is Ian Lopatin. And something I learned from him was the secret sauce to business is generosity.
Wow.
You can never give too much.
I have a personal mission statement. I think every human being should have a personal mission statement. The most successful companies have a mission statement because then everybody knows what the purpose of the company is. What are they here to do? And as human beings, I believe each and every one of us came here with a purpose. And you've known your purpose since you were a child. As a kid, you always knew that you were special. But then we were conditioned to believe we're not special. Now, I believe that every single one of us, all 7.8 billion of us, are special because you are unique. Nobody brings what you bring. No one brings your gift. No one brings your personality, the way you speak, the way you move. Now, most people think that makes them, they judge themselves and say, well, I'm not as good as so-and-so. But why are you comparing yourself to other people? The one thing people say to me a lot in my seminars, especially young people, they come and say, oh, Robin, I want to be like you. And I always go, oh no. But if you're going to be me, who's going to be you? Because, we need you. We can't just have me. And I say it as a joke, but really what I'm wanting them to get is that you've got to celebrate your uniqueness. You've got to celebrate that you bring something unique. So here's what I invite people to do. Become aware of what your unique gifts are. So I recognize my unique gift. I'm confident. I'm friendly. I've got a great sense of humor. I love people. I've got high energy. Now, is that arrogant? Arrogant is when you think you're better than other people. I honestly don't think I'm better than anyone, and I mean that sincerely. There's no one. I don't think I'm better than the petrol attendant or the cashier. I treat the cashier at Pick n Pay with the same respect as I treat the CEO of Vodacom if I have a meeting with him. I don't think he's any more special or any more important. So, but I do think each and every one of us have unique gifts. So find your strengths. So make a list. Make a list of your top 10 strengths. And not in a like an arrogant way, but just in a way like, Robin, geez, you're really a confident guy. You've got a great sense of humor. You speak well. You are dynamic. You're enthusiastic. You are very, you want to make the world a better place. So I make a list and then I think, okay, now, what do I think my mission is? So I created my personal mission. Now my mission statement, I don't know, I didn't plan to talk about mission statement, but I trust what comes up, as you said.
For sure.
The guy who taught us personal mission statement said to us that your mission statement, your personal mission statement needs to be something so grand that you'll probably never achieve it in this lifetime. But each day you can take another step towards achieving it. Because if it's finite and you do achieve it, then what's the point of being alive? So you need to create it in such a way, you need to write it in such a way that it is something that you're constantly striving towards. You're never going to get there. But every day you can get closer, if that makes sense. And this is my mission statement. My mission statement is that I believe that I am here. Spiders everywhere. I believe I'm here because I am here. I transform global consciousness by creating a world of powerful self-expression. So this is my mission. This is what drives me. I believe that my most important thing that I can do in my life is transform consciousness on this planet. And how do I do that? By creating a world of powerful self-expression. What does that look like for me? Well, one way is that I stand on stage in front of thousands of people and I express myself powerfully. But more important than that, I teach other people to express themselves powerfully. So you find what is your unique gift, Jasper? What do you bring? Because if you don't bring it, no one's going to bring it. So we need you to be the best you can be if we're going to make the world a better place. So why I'm saying this, and initially I thought that in order to transform global consciousness, I need to be on stage in front of thousands of people. And then suddenly one day I realized, hold on, I can just speak to the petrol attendant and I can make him laugh. And in that moment, I've transformed his consciousness. I can just speak to people around me and help them see life in a different way in a moment, and I've transformed consciousness. So it doesn't, as Mother Teresa says, we cannot all do great things, but we can all do small things with great love. Isn't that beautiful? Crisis will either make you or break you. It's 100% your choice. My invitation to you is to choose to use this time in such a way that is going to be creative for you. When fishermen can't go to fish, they spend time repairing their nets so that when they do go to fish, they catch more. So in the same way, what I want to invite those of you, if you are in a business situation where you're unfortunate, you can't change it the way I did, what can you do? Are you taking care of your health? Are you working out? Are you watching your diet? Are you being careful of what you're feeding your mind? Are you feeding your mind a diet of healthy thoughts? Or are you feeding your mind a diet of negativity, worry, fear, anger, resentment, and bitterness? What are you doing about taking care of your soul? If you're religious, are you praying regularly? If you are spiritual, are you meditating? But you must take care of your body, mind, and soul if you're going to emerge out of this even greater. And that's my invitation to you. My hope to every single one of you is that you emerge out of this crisis even greater than you went in. That you're going to emerge with post-traumatic growth. You're going to grow, and this is going to be the best thing that's ever happened to you. The best. And I know some of Robin, it's not. Trust me, if you believe it, it will be so. This is the best thing that could have happened to you. So seriously, Jasper, thank you so much. I know our conversation went in numerous ways, but it's been great to spend this time with you. And I trust for those who have been on the line that they found it useful.
If you like this video on Robin Banks, I would suggest you look at the video right next to me, because that's the full interview on Robin Banks and how to create a mindset of abundance.